Begin with a live look at the Atlanta airport this morning, where Delta Airlines has canceled all scheduled flights in and out of Tel Aviv, Israel for the rest of the weekend after a stunning attack on the country about 24 hours ago. In a statement, a Delta representative said, in part, quote, "We are working to safely transport Delta people back to the U.S. and will work with the U.S. government as needed to assist with the repatriation of U.S. citizens who want to return home." And a live look at the country this morning after Hamas rebels attacked Israel, a surprise the country was not prepared for. Now, hundreds of Israelis are dead. Hundreds of people in Gaza have died in Israeli counterattacks. There are at least 2 hostage situations ongoing with dozens of people involved. Thousands more are injured. This horrific situation still developing as we speak. Joining me now, Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press. Kristen, good morning.
Christy, good morning. Good to be with you on this somber Sunday.
Truly it is. We are seeing destruction and continued attacks in Israel and Gaza right now. Israel's president has declared a state of war. This morning on Meet the Press, you are sitting down with Secretary of State Antony Blinken. What are the implications of this sudden conflict for the U.S. with Israel being an ally?
Well, this is a major test for the Biden administration. There's no doubt about that. Of course, as you say, Israel is one of the United States' closest allies. President Biden forcefully yesterday condemning the attacks, saying the United States stands with Israel. What does that look like? One of the big questions for the Secretary of State is, how could this have happened? Israel, the United States, completely caught off guard. This was an apparent massive intelligence failure. What is being done to rectify that? We also have some reporting that the United States, U.S. officials are considering enhancing their intelligence sharing with Israel. What specifically does that look like? What's the timeline of that? And the big question hovering over all of this, will Israel need more aids? Will they need more weapons? Will they need more enhancements to their Iron Dome system? And how will the United States be able to provide that when Congress is currently in a state of paralysis after Republicans kicked out their own Speaker of the House? So there's going to be a lot of pressure on not just the Biden administration, but members of Congress on Capitol Hill to resolve their leadership issue and to get back to work so that they can address the ongoing and evolving crisis in Israel.
And another thing on top of that, there is a presidential race going on. So these attacks and the Biden administration's response will provide an opportunity for all of the GOP presidential candidates to pick a stance here. How do you think this is going to impact campaign strategies? Will we see some of these nominees attack any decisions that President Biden makes, or do you think they'll take a stronger foreign policy stance, which hasn't exactly been a main focus early on in campaigning?
Well, you're right. I think it moves foreign policy to center stage. We have already seen how some of these Republican candidates are responding. They're attacking President Biden for having a weak foreign policy. They're blaming that recent deal that the U.S. just cut with Iran to release 5 U.S. detainees in exchange for some Iranian detainees and $6 billion in what the U.S. says will go to humanitarian aid. Well, you have some of those GOP rivals saying they believe that money went to fund Iran's support of this attack. There is no evidence for that. In fact, the administration has already pushed back forcefully, saying, hey, wait a minute, not a cent of that money has gone to Iran yet. But you're starting to see how this is going to play out on the campaign trail. And again, this is a major test for President Biden, who promised to bring strength and stability back to the world stage. He undoubtedly will get a lot of questions about that, but that is why his response will be so critical as we track to see what, if any, support the United States provides to Israel. Can they help to bring this situation into some type of order?
All right, Kristen, thank you so much for your insight this morning. Meet the Press airs at 10, right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.